What's up, Pickle Peeps? Today's question is a bit more on the philosophical side. Have you ever had a moment where the universe, fate, God, whatever, literally punches you in the face to where you can say, okay, I get it, I'll follow the plan? Or I see the plan, or I understand the plan, or that's my purpose? Yeah. Something like that happened to me a couple months ago when I was on a little trip in Mexico. And I want to share this story. First off, my name is Melissa Pikul. Welcome to the Handmade How, the place where we go over the how of handmade marketing so you can focus on making more profits. And now that's out of the way. So, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it is actually a dark and stormy night out here. Like, I don't know if we'll get any lightning, but there has been thunder roaring through the studio for the past 20 minutes. And I was like, I guess it's time to tell a superhero story. Oh yes, that's where we're going. It's time for an origin story. Now, if you have taken my gift guide challenge, you know I am a huge proponent of stories. Actually, on any of my videos, you should know I am a huge proponent of stories. Storytelling is kind of my jam. And I didn't want it to be. So I got a two-part story here for you to my relationship with writing and with storytelling. More so than writing, with storytelling. So I don't know how many of you know that I actually have a master's in storytelling and writing. Master's in fiction. And, I hated every second of that program. The things you do for health insurance. That's a story for a different time. But the key factor here, like I was all excited, I was getting my master's, like it was a good thing, until the very end of my first semester of graduate school. Now I was commuting back and forth, I was working during the day, I was going to school at night, similar story to a lot of people, right? And as happens near the end of the semester, when you know big projects are due, you start planning out in your head all your all-nighters, right? Of course you do. Come on. If you're not planning all-nighters in that situation, there's something wrong with you. You actually have a plan. So I was coming home from poetry class. The teacher's name was Kevin. I don't remember his last name, but that was probably one of the best classes second best class that I took during the whole program. But I was driving home and I was exhausted. I was planning out that I was going to be doing this all-nighter because I had so many projects I had to finish up. And it's just like the finishing work takes forever. And I kept nodding. I knew I was exhausted. I'm blaring the radio. It does nothing. I'm opening the windows. It does nothing. I didn't have a lot of money. And I was too cheap to go for a cup of coffee at that point. I was like, no, I'm not stopping for a cup of coffee. I don't want to stop. It's going to take me longer to get home that way, and I got stuff to do. And I'm doing the yawns, I'm doing the screams, I'm like banging stuff, I'm trying to get people on the phone, like everything you do in the car to keep yourself awake when you're tired. Except stopping for a cup of coffee. And I'm making it home, and about 5 minutes from my house, under that, 2-3 miles from my house. And you have to understand, I live in an agricultural area. And by that, I mean lots and lots of fields. So I'm driving down one of these roads through fields, and there are like 10-foot ditches deep on each side of the road. There's no guardrails. It's farming country. And at this point, and this is statistically where a lot of car crashes happen, is within very close distance to home, because you start to feel safe. You're like, I can let my guard down a little bit. Anyone know those long blinks? You might be doing one now with this story. These long blinks. Well, I'm driving down the road. I got the radio blaring, I got the windows open, like everything I can do to try to stay awake. And I'm on this road that's got ditches on both sides. Pretty narrow road. And I'm driving, I do one of these long blinks, and I come back up, and my passenger tire is on the very edge of the road. It's like it's on the dirt on the side of the road. And I'm like, oh shit! Jerk the wheel. Now, I'm headed towards a telephone pole. More shit! Jerk the wheel again. And now, There's no more corrections possible, and I go straight into the ditch. I don't drive nicely into the ditch. My nose of my car goes into the ditch. It flips ass over teacup, does a full 360, and slides. I was so out of it, I thought I was on a roller coaster. Like, hands in the air on a roller coaster. I shredded fingernails. Yeah, people thought, it's like, oh no, her fingers, you broke your fingers, shred your fingers. No, my fingernails. Lots of good seatbelt burn, and a fear of car washes from that. But that's a story for another time, fear of car washes. But anyway, I do this and I land, and at that point, at that moment, I lost all passion for writing. I lost all passion for storytelling. Not like I could consume stories, that was fine, but for me telling stories, it was gone, it was done. And I kind of, thinking back, I had assumed I made a deal with the universe, because one more thing to this story in this car that flipped ass over teacup, and I am so lucky to be alive on two things. So one, on the flip, and two, I had a can of Fix-A-Flat in the back. Now, this car was a Honda Element. It was my favorite car. I loved that car so much. However, if anyone knows anything about Honda Elements, it's basically a truck with nicer seats. Like, the whole thing is like a truck with nicer seats. And, like, the back seats strap up on the sides. That's, again, irrelevant. So there's a can of Fix-A-Flat in the back. There's no cushioning. There's no carpeting. There's no nada anchoring this can of Fix-A-Flat. Now, be it, the vehicle is not supposed to go airborne. So that should have stayed in the compartment that it was in, but there was no lid over it. So this can of Fix-A-Flat goes flying. If I remember right, it went through the windshield. If it was a few inches over, it would have gone through my head. And there would be no Melissa Pikul channel here. There would be no Metals and Pieces, because this was actually before Metals and Pieces happened. This was the summer before I actually really dove in and started Metals and Pieces, 2011. And so none of this ever would have happened, because I would have been dead, via can of Fix-A-Flat. That kind of sounds like a Final Destination kind of move, doesn't it? So I was under the impression, and I don't know if you guys ever get this, where you look back on something and you go, that was a turning point, and I'm pretty sure I made a deal. I'm pretty sure an exchange happened at that moment. And for the longest time, I wholeheartedly believed that what I had given up in that moment, like guardian angel, any of that, I made a trade to stay on this earth. And I thought what I had traded was my gift for storytelling, my passion for storytelling, my love of storytelling. Like, the rain is getting harder outside. I love the atmosphere. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. And I went through, I had to keep going like that. So I went through that summer, like, I had a summer program to do where I worked with, I forget the guy's name, but he was like the VP of DC Comics. We did a workshop with him. It was amazing. Like, oh my god, the business side of comics and all. Like, what? And I just struggled my way through that because I had no stories left to tell. I couldn't put anything together. I couldn't put a character together. I couldn't do anything. I had one more year of grad school that I struggled my way through, like clawed my way through the Word docs to get this, to make it to graduate and get my master's. That semester, the only guiding light was a class I took on teaching writing, which to this day is probably the... Nope, Russell topped it in Mexico, but before Russell topping in Mexico was the top class I had taken in my life. Jane Cleland, you're amazing. So, like, getting this master's degree and then just moving on, it's like, well, writing is done. I'm done writing, no more storytelling, zilch, goodbye, nada. We're moving on to jewelry. And I figured that was the trade I made, and it was fine. I made my peace with it. And then, fast forward, I'm doing jewelry. And what I did not realize about my life was that I had been putting out, or I had been creating ways for people to become their own superheroes. So I do chainmail jewelry, which is like based on medieval armor. I was doing recycled bullet jewelry, which is like making you, your concepts, your ideas, yourself bulletproof. showing that survival, showing that tenacity, showing that strength. And I didn't know, subconsciously, I was still playing the hero game. I was still telling stories. I had just transferred it from that to, from like writing stories to visual stories with jewelry, with fashion. I was looking to go on runway stuff and all that. Fast forward, and now I teach makers how to tell their own story in an amazing way that brings meaning. I teach epiphany bridges, I teach origin stories, I do interviews and workshops. All of that based on pulling out stories, because that's how we resonate, that's how we learn, and that's where we hold information. That's where we fall in love. That's what it combines the cerebral with the emotionals and the storytelling. And to move that forward, and I don't know, maybe I'll scrap all of this and just read you what I wrote in Mexico. We did a little exercise in Mexico, and there was not a dry eye in the room. So Russell Brunson, you are amazing. Thank you so much for this exercise, where we went through and we had to like isolate out our values, what brings us joy, all this stuff doesn't matter. But one of the exercises we had to do was write our own eulogy. And Russell, he gives us framework, he gives an example. There's not a dry eye in the house of all like 600 of us in there. It is like, oh my God, it's a crying fest. And then he goes, okay, now it's your turn. You get to write your own. And again, like for the next 45 minutes to an hour, not a dry eye. I'm like blowing my nose. I'm an ugly crier. There is nothing good here. Like the pages are getting wet. My shirt is soaked. I'm so dehydrated at the end of this hour. Like I don't want to talk to anybody because I wanted to hold on to the strength of this feeling. Because going through that process of writing that eulogy, of laying out my values, it's one of those through the veil moments. I don't know if you guys ever experienced this. I hope you have. I call them through the veil moments. You can probably call them something else. But it is the moment where you look back over your shoulder and everything in your life lines up, like the string of pearls, like all the planets, like all that, it lines up. And everything makes sense. I kind of liken it to, maybe this was inspired by the 5 people you meet in heaven, where the guy goes through his life and he's pissed off about how his life turned out and he doesn't know the purpose until he's dead and he meets that 5th person, which is the kid. And I guess if you haven't read the book, I'm not going to spoil it for you. The book was awesome. The movie was meh. But I believe we don't really have that right to know we might not know what our purpose is. You have to fight for it, and sometimes you're living your purpose and you don't expect it. You don't realize that's what you're doing. So you're living your purpose, but not on purpose. And that all changed for me in Mexico. So we were going down, pre-doing this eulogy, and maybe I'll bring it out and read it for you guys. I don't know, like it's high emotions. But in the start of this Mexico trip, we're going down to the welcome dinner. I'm walking with my roommate. There's people behind us. We're all dressed up nice because we're going to the steakhouse for dinner. And we're walking along the path. And you have to understand the Xcaret resort. Like, the paths are weird. The routes are weird. How you get places. Like, to get to this specific restaurant, you had to, like, go into a hotel and then around and down and all this, blah, blah, blah. And, like, there's a pool over there, and then there's this walkway, and there's all these plants and everything, and there's lots of nature there. So there's, like, parrots, there's monkeys, there's all such sorts of stuff. And there's birds flying around. Whatever. It's twilight. It's, like, that starting to get dark bit, and there's birds flying around. I'm talking to Karen. There's people behind us. We're just walking along, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, something comes flying at us. I'm not thinking anything of it. I hit birds in my car all the time. I should have thought about it. And the thing flying, I happen to glance up. The thing flying, and it's flying straight up, and boom! Nails me in the face. I'm shocked I didn't fall. Like getting nailed with a baseball to my cheekbone. I'm surprised that it didn't break, honestly. That I wasn't, like, truly injured. And I'm, like, thrown backwards. Karen's going, oh my God, are you okay? The people behind us were like, you were hit by a bat! Yes. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A bat flew into my face. And I'm just in shock. I'm like, ow, this hurts. And like to this day, like I think about this and my cheekbone throbs. And I'm just in absolute shock. I'm like, oh my God, is it swelling? Like, did it bite me? Is there scratches? Do I need to worry about rabies? Any of this stuff going on, everything's fine. We keep going because I'm not missing the dinner. And we keep going, and we get there, and I'm talking to the coaches, and I'm like, you will never talk to Coach Steve, who is my fellow, he's like my leader in nerdy storytelling. And I was like, Coach Steve, you're never gonna guess what just happened. We were walking, and all of a sudden something flies at me, and it smacks me in the face, and it was a bat! There's the thunder. All right, perfect timing. And Coach Steve, so he looks at me and goes, you're Batgirl! And it was the start of like a tipping point transformation right there. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I have started really working the revolution of stories with ecom. I am all about the hero stuff. So it's all that I consume. If I'm gonna watch a movie, it's a superhero movie. I'm not gonna lie. Or it's a hero movie. All the stuff, like everything laying out in my life. It's like, to be unapologetically you, it's like, hell, shit, yeah, I am Batgirl. All right. And it just like twisted everything. And it's one of those moments where you look back and you're like, oh my God, my life has all been moving towards this moment, and I have been accidentally living this purpose. What if I lived this mission on purpose? And that was culminated in the eulogy scene. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to grab my note. I got it here. The thunder is still going. So this trip starts with a bat to the face. Earlier that day, there was another superhero moment where I was like, oh my God, when I do stories, I need to be giving people capes. I need to be giving people a physical representation of the story that you're telling, of the story that you are and the hero that you are. And like all these little kind of things, then the bat to the face, and then on the final day, Russell had us write these. And here we go. I cried last time I read this. I read it every week. Yeah, okay, let's do this. So, here we go. My name is Melissa Pikul, and I love my life. I am forever thankful for the ability and opportunity to celebrate my family, my friends, my community as the amazing heroes they are. I grew up in an outstandingly lucky childhood. My parents were soulmates who showcased every day that happiness is possible with your best friend, and that every single day is an adventure. The most humble of heroes. My mom's dedication of serving through EMS to be able to make someone's worst possible day not their last day is the greatest gift of moving forward possible. My dad's unwavering dedication to problem reworking, that everything has a solution, of fix, an improvement, a better way. To the pursuit of private adventure, Dad taught me that doing amazing things still keeps us regular people, and everyone has superhero habits that are mind-blowing to others. You guys do. You totally do. Together, they gave me a childhood where impossible doesn't exist if you decide to live on your terms and showing what makes you shine, not the world's. They instilled a hunger for the past, for travel, for understanding and embracing history. They gave me a love of patterns and eagerness to work to purpose. I don't believe in traditional God, but I know there's a higher universal power. There's a plan that you have no right to know until you've lived it. We're on a path we can only see in magic moments looking backwards, over our shoulders. They opened my eyes that excellence and magic exists, and to seek it everywhere. Leadership is not something that comes easy to me. I thought I was happy being in the background, the sidelines, being the observer. In school, in dance, even as an artist in the beginning here, it wasn't until I was asked, given a gentle nudge out the door, my fellow Lord of the Rings nerds, yeah, to share my methods to push boundaries publicly, hello Trunk Show Secrets, that I found my own superhero self. But superheroes on their own fail. And my Sam, my Robin, my sister never stopped believing in my crazy schemes. I'm going to skip the family part right there. My hope in the world is for everyone to realize the hero they are. You're not the villain in your story. You're the hero in yours. And maybe you're a sidekick or a guide or even an arch nemesis in someone else's life, but you're the hero of yours. And the best part of that is realizing the struggles, the bad, the tough is what makes you amazing. Here you go. During grad school, I crashed my car driving home and almost died. I walked away just fine, but there was a loose can of Fix-A flat in the trunk. If that flew into my head, I would have died. Some talk about having a guardian angel looking over, but for the longest time, I thought a deal had been struck. See, I was working on my master's program, and post that accident, I struggled with every word. I thought I had traded that gift, that key piece in my identity, for my life. Looking back, what happened was so much better. The universe crashed me into a pivot that led to jewelry, to business, to interaction and growth with other people. That one pivotal moment set me on a path that defined my actual point to being here. I hope it doesn't take a car crash for you, but just know that these moments set us on paths of greatness. Hero paths, paths that can change the world if you jump in head first and keep saying yes. Okay, I'm not crying, but my eyes are definitely shining. Would you believe, Pickle Peep, that during the middle of that, during the climax of that story, I ran out of space on my phone camera and it died? Yeah. And there was some great epic lightning and thunder right at that moment, right after that too. So, anyway. Why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you these stories? Because they impact everything. The reason I am on this YouTube journey right here is the storytelling, is you're in the trials section of your hero's journey. So I believe everyone is the hero of their life. I believe every business owner, you are the hero of your business, you are the hero of your customers. You're both their sidekick and their hero at the same time. Kind of strange, but true. You're their sidekick in like gifting and shopping ways, but you being a leader in your business, you stepping up, you creating, you putting out in the world, that's the work that hero does. So this is the hero's journey right here. This is my written out version, which I hate that I wrote on a whiteboard because now I never ever want to erase it, mostly because like, come on, that's an awesome kraken at the bottom. But when you're doing in your life, in your business, anywhere, there is a hero's journey that goes on. And it starts with a call to adventure. That might have been start your business. That might have been learn your craft. That might have been start selling your stuff. That might have been start talking to people. Whatever it is that put you on those first steps, those first dedicated steps towards where you are now in your business, in your life. It's the call to adventure. You're going to have lots and lots of little calls to adventure. You're going to have a big call to adventure. Like, don't think of your life, when we see stories, when we watch movies, when we read books, it's all laid out as in like one key moment, one key moment, one key moment, maybe a smattering of little moments. Our lives don't work that way, typically. Like, we'll get big revelatory moments, like me getting smacked in the face with a bat, or like a bat kamikazeing into my face. But most of our lives, we go through it and we don't really realize what's happening as we're living it. We only learn these things as we're looking back. So a call to adventure, you might not have really noticed. You might not have been very aware that it happened right here. You might meet a mentor. I got Russell Brunson. I got Coach Steve. I got Coach Kyle. I got Coach Vince. I have all these amazing mentors in here, and everyone that I've met in the 2CCX program are amazing mentors who guide you on your way. You have crossing the threshold. That's where you leave your comfort zone behind and you are truly striving something new. In any fairy or hero story that you see, this is usually where they go into training, or Frodo leaves the Shire. Lightning McQueen gets stuck in, I feel horrible that I forgot the town's name now, on Route 66. You have now left what is comfortable, familiar, whether that's in your habits, whether that's physically, any of these things. I went on an adventure to Mexico to put it all in a microcosm bit. Crossing the threshold. And then you have helpers, a team. Hey, Regine and Andrew! You have trials and failures, and you have this testing, and trials and failures go into growth and skills. And that is the section of the journey that I feel I'm on right now when you look at a hero's journey, is the growth and skills. And it's the part that is so much fun to pass on to you guys as well. How do we do this? We do this through the gift guide challenge. We're doing it through the upcoming unboxing course. We do it through the BizFit boot camps. We do it through Trunk Show Secrets. We do it with the upcoming stories course. We do it with the Handmade Success Summit. All all of these things right here are learning skills and passing them on and helping you guys develop your hero skills too. I know you have them. I know your business has them. It's just a matter of curating and honing and sharpening those skills. Now, I don't know what's coming with this death and rebirth bit. I feel that's that's the big trial that you face. That's coming up, I do feel. Who knows? It might happen in Arizona in 2 weeks when I go and hang out with Regine and go to Unlock the Secrets, which is the next event 90 days after, or a little under, a little less, something like that, 90 days after Mexico. Or Death and Rebirth might have been me being smacked in the face by the bat. Like, that could have been a death right there. A rebirth, a awakening into the next purpose, the next stage, where you have revelations, you have atonement, you have succeeding in what you've been working towards. All these great things, and you come back. And the stories, hero stories end with them teaching. I feel you can teach the whole way through. But I am so happy. So why am I doing this right here? This is my origin story going on. I am living my origin story. And you know what? You're living yours too. You're just probably not thinking about it. So, I don't know. Had to share. Darkest Story Night, had to share. Going to Arizona in 2 weeks, had to share. Like, so many great things are on the cusp of fruition right now. Had to share. And we're in another gift guide challenge. So, like, I am on it. I am on the storytelling. Had to share. You guys can see how it freaking lights me up right here. And I hope it lights you up too. And I hope that maybe this is awaken a little bit or make you sit back and take a sip of tea, take a sip of coffee, take a drink of beer, whatever it is, and think about your hero story. Think about your origin. Think about the path that you are walking. Because I tell you what, while I'm walking my path, I'm here to be a wizard and a guide and a mentor to you, Pikul Peep, and to bring you up to be the best business hero that you can be. I don't know what kind of amalgamation that sentence was. But I want to guide you and make you the most effective business, the most effective hero, the most effective at your movement that you might not even realize that you have. Now, everyone has a movement. Everyone has something they're passionate about. We just don't think about it because we're so stuck in the day-to-day actions, and having a mission is a higher purpose one. And you might be already fulfilling on that, but not on purpose. Remember I talked about that in the beginning. Having that calling, having that job, and you're doing the right things. You're doing it accidentally. I want you to do it on purpose. I want you to succeed on purpose. I want you to have massive, amazing, heroic success, heroic lives. Heroic on your terms lives on purpose. That is why we're here on the Handmade How. That is why I am on this planet. That is my mission. Is to bring out the heroes in all of you. To make you, or not make you, but help you see that you are the hero of your life. And yes, I love that line from my eulogy that you could be the sidekick or even the arch nemesis in other people's lives. And that's fantastic because we all play different roles. But you are the hero of yours, not anyone else. Step up and own it. All right. For all of that, I'm Melissa Pikul. Have a damn epic day while you're building your epic business.